I was chatting with a friend on a quiet weekend afternoon, the kind where time feels slow, and we kept sharing our favorite anime moments that shaped how we imagine Japan. Then she suddenly said, "Why do anime schools feel so free compared to real ones?" And honestly, I used to wonder the same thing. That one question made us realize how different anime Japan is from the Japan people actually live in. Anime shows a dreamy version of the country. Rooftops open to the sky, emotional scenes at sunset, and symbolic places that feel larger than life. But when you visit the real Japan, you start noticing the rules, routines, and tiny details that make everyday life feel much more structured. Still, that small gap between expectation and reality is exactly what makes traveling in Japan so fun, because you recognize pieces of anime everywhere, just not in the ways you imagined. So today, let's dive into those differences together with a quiz that reveals how anime builds its own beautiful version of Japan. Welcome to Japan Trend Quiz. Today's theme is all about the things that feel totally normal in anime, but turn out to be surprisingly different in real-life Japan. These differences are small at first, but once you notice them, they completely change the way you see both anime and the real country. We picked 5 questions that highlight the biggest gaps between anime worlds and everyday Japanese life, especially details that many overseas fans find fascinating. From school routines to train etiquette and lunchtime rules, each quiz reveals how anime creates its own version of Japan that's charming, dramatic, and not always realistic. So let's take a closer look and see how well you can spot the difference between anime fantasy and real Japanese daily life. Here are the 5 questions we'll explore in today's quiz. First, why are school rooftops so iconic in anime, even though they're usually off limits in real-life Japan? Second, why do anime characters run onto train platforms so easily, while real stations warn strongly against doing that? Third, why do after-school scenes in anime look so free and relaxed compared to the rules in real Japanese schools? Fourth, why can anime characters eat lunch almost anywhere, even though real schools have specific places for meals? And finally, what makes Japanese school uniforms feel so stylish and dramatic in anime? And how does that differ from real-world school rules? Here is question 1. In anime, students freely hang out on the school rooftop, having deep talks, eating lunch, or sharing dramatic moments. But in real-life Japan, most school rooftops are locked and completely off limits for students. So why does this big difference exist between anime and reality? The school rooftop is one of the most iconic settings in anime, often used for confessions, quiet emotional scenes, or dramatic turning points in a story. But in reality, Japanese schools almost always keep the rooftop locked because safety is considered the highest priority, and rooftops carry a much higher risk of falls or accidents. Schools also need to keep track of where students are during classes and after school hours, so it becomes difficult to supervise areas that are far from teachers' regular routes. That's why rooftops are treated as restricted spaces, even though anime portrays them as open, peaceful places where characters can escape from school life for a moment. Anime uses rooftops to create atmosphere and emotion, but in real Japan, school rules focus on safety, supervision, and preventing accidents before they happen. When you start noticing these differences, it becomes clear that anime often shows a stylized version of Japan, rather than everyday reality. If you enjoyed discovering this first difference between anime and real Japan, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next question in today's quiz. Here is question 2. In anime, characters often sprint onto the platform and jump onto a train at the very last second, sometimes with dramatic music behind them. But in real-life Japan, running to catch a train is strongly discouraged, and announcements constantly warn passengers not to rush. So why is last-second boarding considered dangerous and prohibited in Japan? In anime, catching a train in the final moment adds excitement to the scene, creating tension, urgency, and sometimes even comedy as the doors close behind the character. But in real life, rushing toward a train is one of the most common causes of accidents on Japanese platforms, including falls, slips, and collisions with other passengers. Trains operate with extremely precise schedules, and one sudden stop caused by a rushing passenger can delay thousands of people, especially during crowded commuting hours. Japanese rail companies place safety above everything else, which is why platforms have constant announcements warning against running or forcing your way onto a closing train. Anime uses these dramatic moments to move the story forward. But real stations need to maintain order, safety, and punctuality for millions of daily riders. Once you see this difference, you begin to understand how anime exaggerates everyday behaviors to create emotion and energy that wouldn't be safe or workable in real life. Here is question 3. In anime, students often stay in special classrooms after school, studying, talking, or practicing late into the evening without anyone stopping them. But in real-life Japan, many special rooms, like science labs, music rooms, or art studios, are locked after hours and not freely accessible. So why are after-school spaces so limited in reality? In anime, after-school scenes are calm, emotional, and dramatic, showing characters working through their personal challenges in quiet, empty rooms that feel almost magical. But in actual Japanese schools, special classrooms require supervision because they contain equipment, chemicals, instruments, or tools that are not meant to be left unattended. Schools also have strict rules for building security, and once teachers finish their shifts, there isn't enough staff to monitor every area safely. Locking special rooms ensures that students stay in supervised areas and avoids accidents that might happen when no adults are present. Anime simplifies these logistical issues to focus on storytelling, creating warm and nostalgic scenes that feel relatable even if they aren't realistic. But in real schools, safety management and resource protection make after-hours access much stricter than what you see in animation. If you're enjoying how anime and real Japan differ in such unexpected ways, don't forget to subscribe so you can continue with the next question. Here is question 4. In anime, students often enjoy their lunch outdoors, on the rooftop, under a tree, on the stairs, or even on the school lawn, creating relaxed, slice-of-life scenes. But in real-life Japan, many schools restrict where students can eat, usually keeping meals inside classrooms or designated areas. So why does anime make lunchtime look so free compared to reality? In anime, outdoor lunch scenes create warm, friendly moments that help develop relationships between characters and show the emotional rhythm of school life. But actual schools must consider weather, supervision, allergies, food safety, and cleaning, which makes it difficult to allow students to eat anywhere they like. Lunchtime also has a structured routine in many Japanese schools, especially in elementary and junior high, where students serve food, clean up, and stay together as a class. While anime uses lunch scenes to show personality and intimacy, real schools rely on rules that keep mealtimes organized, safe, and manageable for hundreds of students at once. Understanding this gap shows how anime elevates ordinary moments into emotional storytelling, while real school life focuses on logistics and student welfare. Here is question 5. Anime often portrays Japanese school uniforms as stylish, expressive, and full of individuality, with characters customizing them in subtle ways that become part of their identity. But in real-life Japan, uniforms follow detailed school rules, and students usually have limited freedom to modify their outfits. So what creates this difference between anime style and real-world expectations? In anime, uniforms are visual storytelling tools that help communicate personality, whether a character is neat, rebellious, artistic, or shy, without needing extra dialogue. But real schools emphasize unity and practicality, and dress codes are designed to maintain fairness, safety, and a sense of equality among all students. Many schools have strict guidelines for skirt length, hairstyle, socks, accessories, and seasonal variations, leaving little room for personal expression. Anime, however, exaggerates these small details to make characters instantly recognizable, creating a colorful world that reflects emotion more than reality. Once you compare the two, you can see how anime uses uniforms as symbols of individuality, while real Japanese schools prioritize harmony and structure. You've now seen how anime creates a dreamy, emotional version of Japan, while real life follows rules that are more practical, structured, and focused on safety. When you compare the two, the differences become surprisingly charming, and they reveal how everyday Japanese culture shapes the scenes we often see in animation. If you visit Japan someday, you might recognize small details from your favorite anime, just with a little more reality mixed in. And that contrast is part of what makes traveling here so memorable. Thank you for joining today's quiz, and I hope these insights helped you see Japan from a new perspective. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and come back for more quizzes exploring culture, travel, and the stories behind what you see in anime.